Mum and Dad and Denny saw the marching out parade from Puckapunyal. It was a long march from cadets. And the 6th Battalion was the next to tour, and it was me who drew the card. We did Shoalwater. I got a chit, didn't go to Canungra, but then they left. Okay, here you going, team. Welcome. Here we are to the moderator's stream, and we're going to have no doubt some more people coming ASAP as soon as they realise that daylight savings ain't coming on tonight. Not daylight savings, home and away. Kurt Jenkins was the first off, Kaz, my man. Kingsley, how you going? Proud Australian, so am I. James Taylor, love your channel, mate. James, good to have you here, and we are your distraction for tonight. Like Robbie Williams, watered-down version with an LGBT haircut. I am here for you tonight. Aaron Mills, I meant to call you today, but, mate, I didn't get a spare second other than doing research on different things that are happening around the world. So sorry, mate, you didn't come into my mind. Sean Davey, how you going there? When I see Fergie, I think of black-eyed peas. I'm not much of a vegetable fan myself, but a bit of garlic butter, primo. As long as I can't taste the vegetable, I'm good to go. Madison County. We've got Natasha Shelton. Good to have you here with the Napoleon's hand. And we've got Henry Parks. Hey, Kaz, got my U session tomorrow. So you think it's all about you. I get it. I'm stoked for you. And what an amazing thing to remember on the day that the lockdown begins. Lockdown? Total lockdown? No, not even. As a matter of fact, one of the probably most contagious places is going to remain open, given bumper crops to Woolworths and Coles and Aldi, the big three, amigos, if you will. And what have they done to add distance for the checkout ladies? Nothing. Checkout boys? Nothing. There's no automated payment systems coming in. There's no extra. It's just reeling those profits. And no one's saying anything about it. It's a bit weird because everyone goes to the supermarkets. They're not going to close. And they can be, in actual fact, become the vector for what's occurring as we speak. Is it from people overseas? Yes, it was. Was it from lax borders? Yes, it was. But these people still had to come home. All right. But we'll see how that pans out. Everything's going to change, but a lot of things are going to be for the better. You know, there's going to be personal tragedies that happen to people financially and medically. People are going to lose friends, family. That is 100% going to happen. Don't wait for herd immunity. That'll take over 20 million people to catch it. So you don't want to wait for that. They've already got drugs that they reckon right now are like a gut punch to 19. So be happy with that, but that's not an actual, what's the word I'm thinking about? The anti-venom? No, it's not a snake. You know what I'm talking about. So Aaron, hey all, g'day mate. As we said, is it Aaron or Aaron? We can make him feel like he's a little bit more important there. It's 3:30 in the morning in the USA, in Tennessee, the place where Davy Crockett grew up. And Ed B, represent is here. For you, sir, titanium cup. And what else have I got here to make him jump? Wait 2 seconds. Crisscross will make you jump. As you can tell, I've got a coffee here in my midst, which is meaning I'm almost on ADD mode at the moment. Where are we, team? I'm looking for the pet rock, but I can't see it. It's the rock that Ed B sent me from one of the coldest places in Tennessee, from below the ground. And it looked like it was also a borderline, what's it called? Stands in the corner. Everything's green, Blair Witch Project. How's things going over there, Ed? I hope Chantel's well. You know, I'm getting a lot of messages from Jody lately. Hope Maddie's doing well and not getting bored of the couch. I'll have to catch up tomorrow, says Aaron Mills. Thought I'd say hi to all. Okay, hi. Are you hi? No. Ed B, night team, best wishes to everyone. Stay healthy. You too, mate, to USA. And we're going to get through this. Kane, g'day, mate. How you going? Nathan Franklin, Day 13, no work. Sorry, buddy. I think there's going to be a plan for this stuff, mate. And I think it's time for the banks to step up and say stop on loans so that people don't have to meet the loan requirement. And that way they can turn around to, as a landlord, around to renters and say, it's okay. I don't know how they're going to work this, the government. We're looking at so many different situations, but that's not the job that you want at the moment, to be in the higher ranking ministerial jobs that never thought you'd be called on the hardest days. Night to Ed, yes. Madison, hey Kane, Jay Hayes, all the way from WA. Great to have you here, as it always is. What have we got? Today we're going to just be a entertainment provider, a distraction for you, but also a distraction for those that you love, that love you, so that you can give them a break and step away and give them a break from you as well. Because we can get on each other's nerves. And I believe that tomorrow is where the total lockdown begins, other than service stations, which is weird because if you don't need to be anywhere, then you shouldn't need service stations. And the other one being supermarkets. We're seeing Westpac will put on hold on mortgages for up to 6 months. Excellent. Just a simple phone call. Well, they need to make that simple phone call. And I really, really hope that we don't end up with a crime situation, which JC would probably be expecting to see, where people do not pass on that do not pay, do not pass go to their renters. And at the same time, we're at a crux of a situation where if they turn around and say to people, you haven't been paying your rent, and they go, and the government hasn't been paying me, and neither is my employer. This is an act of God. No one saw it coming, and it couldn't have been planned for. Therefore, I don't have any money to pay. Neville Bartos, money, none here. So, okay, we're going to evict you. Well, guess what? You're not allowed to do that either. The danger is the moment that we come up with a bunch of threats for Australian citizens that are doing it hard that we can't actually enforce. That becomes a very serious matter. KFC chicken skin is the new Bitcoin. I'd love some of that right now. Jaden, there you go, mate. Good to have you here. It's good to have Lauren here too, Dave D. Our moderators. Dave has got a bit of a hiccup, but not really. His PFA for becoming an officer is now moving indoors rather than outdoors. I don't know why. You'd think indoors would contain it more, unless it was just at Victoria Barracks and it's still outside. Probably fit to containment, so it says part of job. Bill, hi everyone. How's the budget going to be in the red? I was thinking about something today, guys. Stop touching your face. It's okay. I'm here by myself. There's no girls flicking right that need to worry about coming and catch anything from Kaz either, mate. Imagine if the banks said, whether it be USA, UK, Western world, whatever, it's impossible to pay this back. We could never pay this off. Wonder what the Fed would do in the US and Australia's economy if they went, no more to pay. Money is imaginary anyway. Real wealth comes from gold, physical wealth. All a dollar is a promissory note. And then we got rid of promissory notes and made it bloody invisible. It doesn't even exist. The government says this is how much money. What do you mean? If it's 10 trillion, why can't we say, no, actually 11 sounds better? Imagine if they turned around and said the house you live in right now is just yours. It'd be crazy, wouldn't it? There has to be a way about it, and there's going to be change. There has to be change because there's going to be so many individual logistic situations that are relying on something to change it that they're going to have to come up with another master plan. Matty Man, Neville bloody Bartos. Madison, I'd have loved to come visit you, Dave, at your PFA, but I'm working. Yeah, but what if he fails, Madison? You take him for a coffee? Midway. Hey, Kaz, hey, team. G'day, buddy. How you going? Sorry, no devil's horns. but the surfers salute instead. Kate Higgins, how you going, Lauren? Josh Harmer, how you going, mate? How's things going for you and your family? I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone understands that lockdown's about to begin, which means 2 weeks at home, which means not going out, which means fines are in place. Queensland borders just closed. Lots of people still stranded overseas. How do they get home? People stranded in hotels that I can't afford to go to. It's hard to feel sorry for someone when they've come off a cruise, especially if they're not sick. And then they've come off that and then they're getting put in a hotel. Well, not near your family, yeah, but you've got a room that you don't have to clean yourself. Yeah. Awesome. I wonder if their food gets thrown in too. Josh Harmer, enlisting on Monday. No family about to come to enlistment day. Josh, they will take a photo with you for your phone, mate, and you can send that to your family. And you know what? There's a lot of people that don't make it to enlistment days, but yours will be more memorable. And we salute what you're about to do for us. You're going to be fairly active. You're going to be in a cocoon, if you will. When you go through Kapuka and then you go through your IET training, it's like you don't exist. Your family remember you, but you just go off the radar, then suddenly, beep, when you come back on. Because there's no time in between doing your Kapuka time and doing your initial employment time. Initial enlistment training, sorry. Bailey Little, how you going, mate? Okay, successfully passed my assignment assessment session. Just have to gather up a few medical records and book a PFA. I'd imagine that's going to take a long time at the moment, mate. See how it goes. The people that are in at the moment, they've got enough people that already have their dates, so don't expect that to move real fast. Very sad cadets just got cancelled. That's okay, mate. That's all right. You'll be all right. So that's what I've got this here for, mate. Give you a bit of an escape. Madison says, I need to take documents to DFR, but they said they won't do face-to-face contact or something, so I guess I'll have to search for a JP. You won't find that either. Not until this is out of the way, mate. We're looking at a lockdown for the next 2 weeks. Dave D's PFA will be like a survivor immunity challenge. That's gold. Swollen wog nuts. Some of you guys put a lot of work into your names, don't you? Do you think the coronavirus is a cover-up for something worse? I mean, there's 8 billion people in the world in 2020, and only like 200,000 people are infected. 1% of a billion is 80 million. I don't know. Well, things are growing, mate. Things are growing, and they're expecting there to be up to 18 months before they have a antivirus available. There's drugs at the moment intermittently that are helping people. And if it is an anti-malarial drug, okay, you can believe the 1%ers have got a hold on that. I reckon if you watch the stock exchange at the moment, this would be a plan. Watch for anything medical that suddenly goes and spikes, and you can bet there's some inside training that's been happening between the pollies globally, and that might be a place to put a couple of bucks, but get ready to sell quickly too. If it turns out this anti-malarial drug that has been out for the last 65 years is actually doing a good job at either stopping, reversing, or alleviating what's happening, then why wouldn't you get enough that everyone in the world has enough for 1 month? Take the pill. Just take the pill. Especially if it's a pill that's been out that people aren't necessarily allergic to. That might be enough. Is there a lot of people around the world? Here's a better question for you. Is there a lot of people around the world that don't want a cure? Is there a lot of people that have queued up way too many times for the Super Bowl and they figure if we lose enough people, they'll actually be able to play in the team? Don't know. But you can get dizzy to the point of nausea if you follow the conspiracy theories. Herd immunity takes about 80%. The price to get there would be horrific. For anyone that doesn't understand why this is so big at the moment, is because almost exactly 100 years ago, in 1918, the Spanish influenza that was actually a French flu that they believe originated in an American military camp, ended up infecting a third of the world. a third, and killed over 50 million people, more than 15,000 in Australia alone. And that was with a hell of a lot smaller population, without the means of transport between countries, and without the integration of the Chinese people that are spreading this disease and basically spread it all. So what is the bill going to be for China either? No one knows how big this could get. Right? The mortality rate doesn't sound like it's massive, somewhere between 1 and 7. Depending on who you are, it might be in the high 90s if you've got predisposed conditions. We're hearing horror stories happening all over the world in locations like Italy, Spain, etc., that have lost, I believe, a day and a half ago, 23 doctors have died in Italy. And at last count this morning, 5 doctors had died in Spain. There was numerous people that had passed away and been left by their medical staff in Spain in retirement homes, just left them to die. Yeah, there's all sorts of stuff coming out of China at the moment. There is so much fake news that they could tell you the absolute truth straight down the barrel, and you wouldn't know it if you're hearing it. So all you can do is look at the World Health Organization figures, and then from there make your own assumptions and understand that you're never going to know the full truth. And you know what? You're not going to know the full truth a year from now. Nathan Franklin, I don't know if the topic has been touched on. Views on the warships in Sydney at the moment. I haven't seen them, mate. Have we got warships in our harbour at the moment? Is there more than one cabin boy per ship? Captain's cabin boy. Is it only the captain that gets one? I don't know. MP, all I hope is that the world puts some hurt on China after all this settles down. We know what I'm saying. Take communism off them. Let them face the truth when they've got full transparency within their own country. You should always be accountable to the people of your country, but I believe the age for voting should be 25 and upwards. You've got to have at least a chance to have lived a little bit of life. You can't let a school kid vote. You can't let someone vote who hasn't actually given anything back to the country, who hasn't contributed, who doesn't pay tax. You've got to allow the people that have a dog in the fight to make the decisions. And there has to be a price for the ability to vote, whether that means what it used to be, bucket brigade, putting out fires at a moment's notice, or whether that be putting on a uniform and stepping up to the plate for domestic and foreign service if required. The scary thing about that is we've got a lot of percentage people of the modern society that wouldn't be able to put a uniform on. And if they were to do the top button up or the middle button, you could take an eye out if it comes unstuck. Simon, g'day, buddy. How you going? Wasn't talking about you there, my Raffy brother. Timing, very sus, Matt Man. Where's Matty? Chinese warships. For starters, Chinese Navy, should never be in Australian waters or domestic waters of any Western civilized society under any circumstances. China is not a country that should ever be trusted, cannot be trusted. They do not assimilate. Yeah, there's some fantastic people from there, and there are some absolute Chinese patriots in China as we speak that are going through untold amounts of bravery, their deeds, to get the information out on what they're seeing on the ground. They are not short of pluck at all. But what they have is a system that makes you a servant of the state even when you're abroad. So you cannot trust them. You don't know who's doing a recon and who's just going for a wedding, all right? Or who's preparing to get the hell out of Dodge. Can't trust someone that eats aardvark. Jaden, what you had for dinner, Kaz? I had a hot dog, mate. I was figuring if we've got a lockdown starting tomorrow, then I might as well have got something that wasn't necessarily good for me. I've got enough oranges there to keep the scurvy away, vitamin C, so to speak. The thing that's going to hit me the most, what's going to hit you guys the most? Mine is coffee. Just drive through or going for a walk, pick up a coffee with your Fitbit. Just kick back, take it easy, relax, conversation with a stranger, contemplation, if you will, food for thought. Yeah, that's what I'll miss. Original flavour. G'day, mate. How you going? When I see your name, I think of Tubes, the delicious bite-sized saucy snacks that have come to our shores multiple times and then left. It's a tough one. I miss them every day. Josh, I miss going to the gym already. Yeah, you'll get over that, mate. You can do that stuff at home. A little off topic. There's no topic tonight, mate. Whatever you want to talk about. Do you think Australia should have the Second Amendment? Think we should. That's a tough one, mate. You're basing a lot of the amendments. You're basing this off a law-abiding, common sense, population. Common sense is getting harder and harder to come by. And what stipulation would you add to the Second Amendment? Yep, the right to bear arms. What would you do? Why should someone be allowed to carry a weapon, right, that doesn't know how to use it or thinks they know how to use it and then has every excuse under the sun when they do something wrong and shoot their mate accidentally or their family member? USA went through a war, an occupying force with Britain there that gave them ability after the Battle of Independence and the civil wars, etc., that a government couldn't overthrow them from within. I don't know. Naturally, I'm a little bit partisan to weapons because I'm an expert at them. But do I want the local dork? We're not a warrior race, Australia. We're full of beautiful people who mind their own business and work very bloody hard, and not so much as they used to love thy neighbour. But what happens when the scumbags are the ones with the weapons that aren't registered, that can fire and forget, and then they say, oh, they're under the influence, diminished responsibility, no foul. It's a tough decision. Matty says, no Second Amendment. We haven't had a massacre for good reason. Well, we did. Port Arthur. No, that's not necessarily true, Matty. We've got plenty of illegal weapons in Australia, mate. It's not in people's MO to do it. Okay, and you got to remember, most of the shootings that happen in the US are suicides or gang-related, righto? Matty, anyone can get firearms now. It's not hard to get a license. It is if you're me. It is if you're an expert with PTSD. They don't like that. Bailey, how you going? What do you guys think about non-lethal self-defense weapons? If it's non-lethal, Bailey, this goes into what they're asking about. I can't be trusted. Supposedly, I'm a mature human being, the father of a lovely daughter. But if it's not lethal, I can't be trusted. If there's a taser at my mate's barbecue, then my expectation is I want to see someone ride the lightning. I want to see it. And you know what? So will you. Beanbag in the guts. Yeah, people are going to make videos out of using that shit. I think it'd be a good one, but they'd get used for evil because the word non-lethal doesn't mean it's not lethal. It still can if it gets in the right spot. What do you think about non-lethal self-defense? And what's self-defense these days? Someone offended me. Someone with conservative views said something I didn't like. I don't know. Someone was coughing on fruit. Judging by your political views on China, guns, the media, wait a sec. I got myself in the shit with someone here. Where are we? Someone deleted something. It's Bailey Little talking out of shop. You're allowed to write it whatever you want, Bailey, but just make a logical question, not an assumption or a stereotypical whatever, and we'll listen to it, mate. No problem. Team, you're allowed to come here. We're not going to sanction what you say as long as it's not attacking each other. All right? You should be able to have a conversation, and when you can't, that's when people get tribal. We're already seeing that the left is failing across the entire world, and they're struggling to find something else to be offended by. I hate to say it, but you should keep the people on the left out of your life as much as possible, because it's not an alternative view. It's normally just hatred and sadness and projection. Always trying to tell you what to do. I basically think what I'm trying to say is don't be a sucker. See that one? That's going to get me through the next 2 weeks. Okay, I agree with you there, Kaz, but I think that we shouldn't go through some sort of safety process in order to unlock your right to own a firearm. Look, we've spoken about this one before there, swollen wog nuts. And that would provide a fantastic employment opportunity for people like JC. God bless him. I don't know. I believe that his shoulder operation has now been postponed. He was meant to be under the knife for a victims of crime while he was the thin blue line doing his job. Got his shoulder murked by a scumbag. It gives retired soldiers a chance to go into something which is the qualification and safety lessons, courses that could be conducted with people with weapons. Now, then it comes down to what weapons should be accepted, which weapons should not. What is the zone that you should not be allowed to have a high-capacity magazine carrying weapon system, which you can call assault weapon, you can call whatever, but at the end of the day, any weapon that has a high-capacity magazine I can use in a theatre of WAR, Whiskey Alpha Romeo, no dramas at all, because automatic is not what makes a weapon deadly. It makes it inaccurate. It's the worst way to fire. Unless you're trying to scare people with noise. But that would be an excellent, it would be an excellent profession, but at the same time, it'd be scary. Did you know when you were safety staff in the military, more often than not, almost all ranges are run by infantry for the support corps, etc. And it scares the hell out of you, just the improficiency that people have from failure to, because of money, a lot of it failed to be exposed to these weapon systems and the confidence in those weapon systems. Now, I had to qualify. It was over 2,000 people. And what was the year? I think it was 2000 and something. And there was 3 operations that were all going at once, and they were all going out of the 2nd Battalion, the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment. And myself and Brando, Sergeant Brandon, an excellent young man, fantastic fisherman, unlike myself, got the gig to go and zero more than 2,000 soldiers, airmen, seamen, can't say that probably without laughing, on the Steyr so they could zero their weapon systems before they went on deployments, whether that was to Solomons, whether it was Timor, or whether it was to the Middle East. And I got to tell you, it was normally the more rank they had, the more dangerous they were. I had people stand up with a magazine on their weapon system who were considered mission essential, who got up and turned around with a weapon that had not been cleared with a magazine on it, with 300 people sitting behind them waiting to go next in a rolling practice. And then offended when you call them out or tell them to fucking stop because their rank is insulted that everyone saw you rip them to shit in front of everyone because of a safety infraction. I'm telling you. And that was with uniformed members that are all qualified on that weapon. So imagine civilians with a weapon system and excuse. We can't even trust people in Australia and the Western world to stop when they run over a child on a bicycle. So what would happen when someone does a ND, UD, goes through a window? This happens all the time in the US, accidents, and someone is hit by a stray round. You don't know you've hit someone. That bullet can fire blocks, especially if it's in a trajectory that's flying out from an angle that goes through that window or through an open window or an open area. And where it lands, you may have absolutely no intention, but there can be real life consequences. JC, especially from commissioned officers. Exactly right. Commissioned officers, normally the worst. And there's nothing better than, hey, Grumpy, how you going, mate? Matchstick and SLR, lots of noise, buckets of bullets, melting barrels. There you go. That was how you used to turn a disengaged safety sears and turn an SLR, self-loading rifle, 7.62 millimeter, and you used to be able to turn that into an automatic weapon. Not good for it, inaccurate as buggery, sore shoulder, busts up your mouth as well. Wooden stock, don't recommend it, but an excellent weapon. Yeah. When you tell a commissioned officer, that's someone who has commission from the Queen, someone that you have to salute and call sir, someone like Dave D soon. And when you've got to tell them they've failed their shoot, it's funny as buggery. Simon Powell had the SLR as well. There you go. Hey, Kaz, have you seen what a 338 hollow point does to a rabbit? No, I haven't. I haven't seen too many animals shot, mate. I'm not a hunter. I don't mind if people do, as long as they eat what they hunt. I've seen humans that have been hit. I saw this unlucky bastard. I think I've told you before. Had 16 bullet wounds. 16 from 4 gunshot wounds. This poor bastard had been sprayed by a machine gun and he'd been hit 4 times up the leg. But what had happened was, I was there with my section in the hospital. We were the guys that were holding him up in the emergency. And they'd gone through one leg, all through one leg, and then through the inside of the leg, and then through the inside of the other leg, and then out. And one of them had come through his hip as well, so it smashed his pelvis. I don't know if he ever would have survived after that. Crazy. 16 wounds, in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And also in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. I'm not talking about burgers. And he wasn't screaming. We saw a bloke that dropped a grenade. He had his brother had Egyptian grenades, RPA soldier, and he'd played around with his brother's equipment, his webbing, and got his grenade out. They believe it was an Egyptian grenade, pulled the pin, and I've seen soldiers do this with, as a matter of fact, happened to me once at night time, of a trip flare, and couldn't put the pin back in, and you're not supposed to put the pin back in. The trip flare fuse is instant. If you chuck it, it goes even before it's hardly left your hand, and it scares the living shit out of you. You only do it once. I did that about 20 years ago. I learnt my lesson. Scout's worst nightmare is a bloody trip flare. Your own friend that can burn you to buggery. Magnesium. You've got to put it underwater to stop the burn. And then once you bring it back out, it reignites. But this guy tried to put the pin back in, and then I don't know what he was thinking. Took his hand away. Then the next thing that come off was the bail. Bang. He died on the operating table. It was a real mess. One RTU at Edinburgh during winter was bad. Honestly, JC, you've been to Afghanistan. I've been to Rwanda. There is a massive difference between Rwanda and Afghanistan, as in actual cold. But I reckon in some ways Rwanda's colder. You might have had the below zero, but Rwanda's in the mountains, and we were dressed with because we had to wear only military issued equipment. You weren't wearing just jumpers and shit, and no one's going to wear a Howard Green. The embarrassment you would face would give you PTSD for years, and there was no hot showers. So you were having mountain water and getting to stand under that. And, man, some of the inventive swearing that would come out of Blue Wernham's mouth and other people's, the swearing was out of control. But you'd see the locals that were so used to it, they'd be there with a bucket of water with ice across it Okay? They wouldn't even wait till it warms up in the day, and they're out there just dunking themselves on it. Insane. And surrounded by gum trees because we did a forestation thing for Rwanda. So you feel like you're in Australia the whole time you're there, other than the colour of the crowd. Joshy Jackson, hey Kaz, quick question. I'm going in as infantry, but I'm hoping to do amphibious. So you're talking about 2RL, 2nd Battalion, my old battalion, 2nd and none, Royal Australian Regiment. What are your thoughts to be able to get to that battalion, not regiment? We've only got one regular regiment, mate, and that is the Royal Australian Regiment. And then you've got the 2nd Commander Regiment as well. And then you've got the Special Air Service Regiment, which is SAS. But we've got one regular infantry regiment, the Royal Australian Regiment. Got its prefix Royal in 1949. That, you'd better be good at swimming, you'd better be a standout at swimming, and you'd better be goddamn fit, because most of the people at the 2nd Battalion Royal Australian Regiment have a unique skill set, and swimming is one of the capabilities, and they have to have. They're going to be around a lot of landing craft, around a lot of helicopters, and they are a lot smaller battalion with specified roles. As long as you get to the School of Infantry and you're saying the whole time, I want to go to the 2nd Battalion, and this is why, and then you show that you're above average in the swimming pool, there's no reason why you can't go there, as long as they're taking people. When you go to the Singleton team, they're already going to know you may have no chance of going to the battalion you want. They're going to have a rundown of how many people are wanted at the different battalions. And then from there, you're going to compete for those spots every day you're training. Despite the fact that you are surrounded by a section, despite the fact that you are policed as a group, you are still individuals in that group, and you will still get reports, weekly reports on how you've gone. And that will be grouped averaged over that entire training cycle. And then to that, you will either be low performing, middle of the pack, or high performing. If you're high performing, there's a good chance you're going to get that battalion. The other way around it is just to continually be a nut. It has to be one area. I want to go to one area. Why do you want to go to one area? Family reasons. Not because a friend is there and not because a family member is there, but you can say because your dad served there, because your grandfather served there, and you want to follow his footsteps, and that would make him really proud because he hasn't got many days left. Times are changing, team. There's going to be a lot of changes. I think it is time. If we're going to be paying the army at the moment, there is no reason for them to be at home. Before we need them, we need to activate them. We need to get the regular army, because they're already getting paid. We can't afford the Army Reserve to deploy them because that's a new money that we're paying. Can we afford it? I don't know. That'd be up to the states, and I don't believe in the states. This should be a federal organisation. Okay, this should be a federal lockdown. Everyone under one rule system to keep it from being complicated. But what was I talking about? Yeah, the regular army. If you're in Queensland, send them to New South Wales and Victoria. If you're in Victoria, send them to Western Australia. If you are, you name it, send them away from the temptation to try and get back to their homes. Otherwise, they'll be so distracted they won't get anything done, or they'll be so partisan to helping their friends and family, etc. But if they're getting paid, they need to go and take the burden of some of the roles that need to be met before they're asked for. So there is an overlap. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. Yeah, and I'm sure they'd be happy to do their bit. This is something. Mr. Bryce, how you going, mate? How you going? Sleeping camel carcass like Bear Grylls. Here's something. Here's something. Is Bailey Lewis still going crazy? Lavis? Bailey Lavis. Come on, act your age. Act your bloody age. Say what you want to say without swearing, without putting titles on people. And I'm sure Lauren will let your what you want to say up, and then we can have a normal conversation about what you want to say. All right? Okay. Lauren, if Bailey's got something that moment's down, what are we going to get at? Lauren, new profile being creepy. Ah, okay. To female subs. Yeah, okay. That's inappropriate. No need for that. Probably a sign of age there. Buffering. You're the only one that ever says this, Mr. P. I'm starting to think it's a conspiracy. Hey, Paulie, how you going, mate? JC, I've been listening to a podcast series you probably know, Loose Units. I saw a message about that today. I think that was from you, mate. What's it about? Don't worry, I'll look it up and I'll have plenty of time after this. What we're looking at doing here, team, as well, is having probably once every 2 days, we'll have this stream, considering there's about to be a total lockdown. Again, total, tongue in cheek. So make sure that not just the comments here, but the comments underneath this video after it finishes rendering, etc., when it's complete, put your questions in there and we'll address those in the following streams, etc., like a registered question, so to speak. All right. Swollen log nuts. I want to be in the RAAMC as a combat medic in the medical corps, and I've been talking to a friend who's reserved for Australia. He suggested I should be an officer, no, but provide no excuse other than the pay. No, mate, no. Look, there's a few different ways, and Michael Stott, I haven't seen him yet. He's our medic. He's the guy to speak to, but there's advantages and different paths you can go into. If you go into the medical corps as a doctor, an already qualified doctor, then they'll come across as officers after they've done the silver spoon course that gets them in there as quickly as possible. Other than that, you'll be working in as a medic, working on ingrown toenails, push bike stacks during PT, etc. There's no reason why you can't go to infantry or cavalry and then from there do a combat medics course, which means one moment you're a gunfighter, but you've also got the additional burden sometimes, but qualifications of a combat medic, which means you are the guy with the controlled drugs on the ground at the front. Okay, they need me now. Okay, off I go. And more often than not, the medic is not the one that gives the first aid. He will be given a party from, not a fiesta. Okay, he'll be given a group of people from the platoon sergeant when he says, now you can work after that casualty, because we don't just rush to a casualty and start helping them, because chances are, as part of a fatal funnel, it is an area of an engagement area where that person is most likely to be re-engaged. You don't want to create a spot where we have 3 or 4 people in a pile and they know just keep the sniper, keep the weapon system aiming down that way, and another lemming is going to come over and get himself bloody shot. So we wait until we move past that casualty, and then someone drags him into some dead ground and tries the best within the golden hour to save his life. So you can go for that qualification after you have your initial qualification in the exciting jobs. Yep. Madison, the only thing I'm waiting for is the tattoo shops to open. People get addicted, don't they, Madison, once they get a tattoo? You going for a big one or you going for a small one? 42 minutes on, says Mr. P. How are you feeling, mate? I hope you're doing all right too at the moment. You've been thinking about your lot lately? Dave D. Wonder how many people are going to get jail time and then wondering why they only get flicked right on Tinder. Not by me. One of my mates in Cairns, too many, says Lauren, who is a tattoo expert and an artist to boot. Bloody one of my mates has just met a gem of a lady, up in Cairns. She's been off the market for 16 years, and I think she had to split up with a partner where maybe he was not the faithful one, and loyalty is a real important thing to her, and timing is really important to my mate, and the timing is clutch. And now they're together. They seem to be able to not just honeymoon period obsession, but it just feels like they think that the time is right. They don't need to look at 100 cars before they choose the one they want, and they're good. I think I'll buy. So I might have a new unofficial sister. If that's the case, never spoken to her, Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to buy you a present and welcome you to our family. And all the best to my friend, and I hope he stays happy. He deserves a break. Simon, that's how working out for you. Jaden, where's the video going? What's going on, Jaden? We having trouble? I won't be a combat sniper when I'm older. Do you have any advice? You won't be a combat sniper, or you want to be midway. You got to earn that one, mate. You got to get to the battalion. Brady Cars, Mr. P is buffering. To become a sniper, they kind of choose you. All right. It is a small team environment. It is highly skilled. All right. You'll get the chance to go for, if your platoon allows you to go for the pre-selection, the week where they'll test all sorts of skills, potentially navigation, fitness, etc. I'm not up to date with it at the moment, but I can talk to one of the master snipers who comes on here sometimes. And then from there, they will determine whether you have what they want to be chosen to be in their platoon. It's a tough gig. And so much responsibility, because they also have to be very good at public speaking, because their job is to speak to much higher as the commanding officer's asset within the RSS platoon, the recon, snipers, and surveillance platoon. And from there, they need to say, this is what I can provide to you. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is the plan. This is the risks to my plan, and I can mitigate those by bam, bam, bam. This is my operating time for how long I can stay active in the Badlands. This is what I can provide you. Do not waste my talents as a reporting agency, because you have recon platoons for that. Yep. You need to be able to tell higher ranks what you can and cannot do, and that can take some confidence that only comes from being skilled, which being competent, and knowing what you're doing, because there's no room for error for those guys. Howdy, folks, says Catonius. Roman, Nutsu Cow, how you going? Original Flower. Hi, back. I'm Dad. Your dad? I don't know what you mean by that, but good to have you here, mate. Lauren Catonius, how are you? He's a good bloke. Catonius has been with us for the entire time. Ran into him at the very back of the line with a face like a Cheshire cat, happy as buggery, at a Jordan Peterson presentation. And he was coming last. It was close to last, and had his book with him, getting ready to get signed. Okay, 12 Rules for Life. Okay, Jordan Peterson, I hope you're doing a bit better in rehab at the moment, mate. Yeah, and one of the nicest blokes you'll meet, old Catonius. The Slim Cow Count pickings tonight. It is. That's fine. We're here to distract you. We want you to be happy. Not many people here tonight, but that's fine. There's a lot of people preparing. There's a lot of people in the bunker putting canned food in there. And no matter what you do, it's going to taste like shit tomorrow. That's why I'm not impressed with ration packs. Your favourite foods could end up being detested foods in the next few weeks. One creeper count. Lauren, we've got to start doing that. We've got to start keeping count of the creepers. You know what one of the funniest things is? Whenever we get someone who's bad news for the stream, when you give them an opportunity to actually cut away the bullshit and actually have their say, they run for the hills. They just don't know how to behave amongst others. It's a funny one. Madison, I should go back and play my guitars. Thanks for reminding me. Music's a big thing, Madison. If you get in the military, if you can get a guitar over to a firebase, you'll be very welcome indeed. And a lot of good musicians have been made as well. Swollen Wog Nuts, I'll never get sick of saying your name. So should I join as infantry for an amount of time, then do medical courses? I'd recommend that, mate. Or do the course as soon as I become infantry. By the way, how's the MREs? Really want to know. MREs, no big deal, mate. Meals ready to eat. no big deal. Eat them once, love the brownie. After that, yeah, they're a US food. The best ration packs I'd ever had, don't know what they're like now, was from the Canadians. It used to come in like a bag. They don't venture far from home. And they had a cheeseburger in there. So I was a bit surprised to see that. We've got beef and tortellini, which sometimes you wonder, is that tortellini or a piece of artery? Oh, shit. A metal guy. Oh, no, you can't be into that. Everyone that can't sing, go to metal. Hillary Clinton fucking backup band. So should I join? Okay. I do recommend joining as an infantry. It is very, very hard to assist infantry from a medic's perspective. If one, you don't have the fitness, right, and you don't actually understand what they're doing on the ground. If you do infantry and then do a sidewards move into medics, you'll be a better medic, you'll be a better understanding medic, and you'll be a calmer medic, and you'll be a fitter medic. And then when you come back, okay, and you work with infantry, cav, etc., you'll know exactly what to do to fit in. You'll know exactly how to move with an organisation. You won't piss anyone off, and you'll be welcome. And then from there, you might end up going to special forces and going and assisting those guys and being welcome as well. You don't know what you don't know. Many soldiers could go with JC on a ride along. Do we even do ride alongs in Australia, JC? Good to have you here, sir. Can we see what's official, what's happening in Tsukau on your operation for your shoulder got murked by the bad guy? Rat pack only, eat them if you only want to shit once a month. Yep. It's like reverse sex. We're proud of a hard turd coming out, but we don't want hard stuff going back. One way valve. There's only two genders. Always slip that one in. You notice no one is actually on the list of the, they, thou, t'other. In an emergency, none of that seems to exist. It's funny that. Anyway, that's probably pissed people off. You got to be honest, don't you? So what we're saying, JC, yeah, if we did ride-alongs in the police, no, you don't do them. Okay, naturally, there's things that can go wrong. They do it in over in the US. Especially if you're an Aussie cop or Western world cop, you can go over there and you can go along with their police surgery on Monday. It's still happening. Is that because you're essential service, they're allowing you to go ahead as a priority? I hope so, mate. Mucho respecto to you, indeed. Thin blue line. Those who represent us, allow us to sleep domestically. Excellent. That's great news, mate. I'm really happy for you. I was going to say, if you could have ride-alongs, you would much rather someone come along that had done their time in CAV or 343 than someone that had been in, fill in the blank, a support role. Someone that understands a little bit what it's like for the rules of engagement, what it feels like where the rubber meets the road, right, where the thong meets the turd, so to speak. I don't mind that, where the thong meets the turd. Hey, Anderson, why they wouldn't waste their time at the moment, Madison? What's that for, my mate? I've seen so many police cars around my area lately waiting to get pulled over for my first breath test. They still are getting people, I believe. There's been heaps of break-ins already, and I can imagine that's going to go up. This is going to be the scumbags full moon. That's not a bad one either. That's a good T-shirt. The scumbags full moon is always going to be an emergency, isn't it? Always a moment of panic. But what the police should probably do, and the court system is back the police or military in an emergency, and I believe this occurs too, and any crime that happens, JC, can you tell us this, confirm it, that any crime that you do under the guise of a state of emergency can add magnitude to whatever you do, can blow it out of the water. Yep. You can be in big shit. Gold Coast got smashed by a group of crooks last night. Yep. They'll get caught because they've always got big mouths, haven't they? 55 minutes on. Yep. Mr. P, go to bed, mate. It's all right. You don't have to be here for the whole thing. Lauren, folks, let's not take up essential medical services with acts of jackassery. Yeah, not a good time to ride a skateboard or do anything radical, park owl from high buildings. Swollen Walnuts, awesome, thank you. You've given me a much more in detail feedback on my grey areas. Now my path is clear for the next couple of years and look forward to becoming an infantry soldier combat medic. I look forward to you doing that too, mate. And you know what? We're always after good people. Even when we say we're full, I wish that we could say, okay, come over here, platoon sergeants get platoon sergeants pick, and we get to pick 2 or 3 people from civilians and they go, and they get a quick entrance into Kapooka based on their merit in the public arena already. I used to work at a pub in Penrith. Full moon is a real thing. Simon, I reckon, I believe so. The red cow, you can hear it from here when it used to go crazy. Scumbags full moon. I'd buy that T-shirt. Any tips for where I should be fitness-wise before going to Kapooka for infantry? Joy, I've spoken this ad nauseum and I've never seen your name on here, so you absolutely deserve the answer I'm about to tell you. I'm not going to bullshit to you. I've run more than 3,000 fitness lessons in my lifetime, from groups of over 100 right down to individual coaching. And I will tell you that I would expect when you turn up to the battalion, when you turn up the battalion, that you can do more than 60 push-ups, that you can swim 200 metres without stopping in a Olympic swimming pool, that you can tread water for between 10 minutes and half an hour, that you can swim across a swimming pool underwater without taking a breath, that you can run a BFA in under 10 minutes, that you can do at least 7 to 10 chin-ups, that you can do 10 to 15 dips, that you can do between 64 and 100 sit-ups, preferably 100, and that you have played sport, okay, and that you are confident, and you know why you want to be there, and you finish everything that you start. That's a gold answer. That's it. And you turn up with, I'm new, I'm here to learn, I'm here to fit in. You're my team, clan of the cave bear, okay, I'm here. And I'd be, good on you, mate, good on you. Now, boys, take him out, go and have some Cactus Jacks, introduce him to the most delicious Australian authentic Mexican food that accounts for 10% of Mexican drownings, that are trying to come all the way. Madison, not too cow for starters in green. I've been doing my running still, Kaz, taking my little boy Romeo, what a fantastic name, with me. I also got to 7 pull-ups. Well done in one go now. Thanks for your support. That is a fantastic effort. Great effort. Human movement is a very important one, right? Romeo, what chance do you have, bud, Madison, of picking up a lady, of meeting a lady when you turn up and they go, what's your name? You go, Romeo. They go, uh-oh, watch out for this lad. Slick haircut, broad shoulders, thin waist, nice shirt, cheeky smile. Romeo is his name. You'd be thinking, watch out. This guy doesn't come with a safety net. It'd be very interesting to see what that young man turns out to, because that spins of attention. If I was going to employ someone, there was 10 guys' names there and someone's name was Romeo, I'd be going, it'd be good to have that guy working for us. He'll look good on a letterhead. Very smart move, Madison. Watching you, smarty. Okay, Swollen Walnuts. 10-cent returns on cans. I wonder how much it'd be before it actually becomes really worth it. Swollen Walnut says physical fitness is only 50% of the strength in you, bud. You need a strong mental game too, just as strong. Absolutely do. Absolutely do. Yeah. There's something I want to do for you in the next few days, and I don't want to just keep making promises they're not delivering. And it's going to be things that set the scenes for you so you understand where the mental fitness comes in. We've had people turn up for Carter courses, for SASR, and they basically ended up coming home early. They were fit as hell. But when they had no fat reserves, they started burning muscle and their body just said, no, I'm done, gone, did him out from the village. Off we go. Self pulled off. All right? I don't mean reverse. When you step into the jungle or you go on a patrol, that's rain, team. And it's hitting, and you're not allowed to wear a raincoat, and you're not allowed to wear a jumper, and your pack is on your back, and you've been told that already in the mission statement in topography package that rain, storms are coming, and they will have no effect on mission by someone who is going to be staying in a warm CP and doesn't even make his own coffee. I'm telling you now, you'll get nervous, shit scared. The waterlogging can create agony where you just cannot get warm. Eventually you'll get warm when your pack is on, marching order, restricted, unrestricted, or very restricted terrain, walking with your weapons, patrolling an area, dominating a location, denying enemy freedom of movement in either a corridor, a AO, or a TAOR, tactical area of operations. You'll heat up, but it's the times when you were stopping, that cold will hit your bones. And once it gets there, it doesn't warm up. And I'll tell you one of the strategies, some of the people that are the best at it, and that's New Zealanders. Those guys can get a fry pan out of their pack onto a jet boil, noodles for two, and a sloppy dish on top, cooking in under a minute. And the key is to get hot food into the insides as quickly as possible to heat up your body core temperature. You won't get that done with the jumper. You might get it with hugging a man inside 2 sleeping bags, but you don't want that on your resume, I tell you now. Anyway, you can probably tell I've been there before. Make sure you check a thumbs up there if you can, team, just so YouTube keep watching. Squat, spark, lunge, hammy, curls, running. Jay. Hill runs are great in the sand dunes. We used to do all our infantry training. Used to go down where you had to fight as well, down at Stockton in the sand dunes. That was compulsory, and it was compulsory to fight too. Yep. Spark. Gym's all closed, so anything I can already do body weight squats, push-ups, mate. Get them in there. Push-ups, burpees, do it on the grass. So when you pass out, you're all right. Kaz, do I check out the YouTube Army Vet channel? Willie beating cancer. No, I haven't seen it yet, mate. I haven't seen it yet. Because every time I look on YouTube, there's always something, always something, always something. I get carried away. Oh, Madison. Romeo is her puppy. He does wear shirts occasionally, though. If you put a shirt on a dog, it becomes a cat. That could be a good shirt too. Josh Jackman. Do some high-intensity stuff. Yep, and for prolonged periods of time as well. Did it once. Neville Bloody Bartos, what did you do, mate? Had to share another man's embrace to keep warm. Grumpy Digger. 9th in the number 9 in the Patreon. 2 kilos per week added for 4 weeks. Tully or crawl out, no more than 8 kilos weights increase. Was that given advice during the old days? 2 kilos per week added for 4 weeks. I don't understand that. Billy, 55 to 100 squats, no weights. I've missed leg day for nearly 30 years. It hasn't really done anything other than change my aesthetics. It's given me some lovely legs for a man, but if they were on a lady, they'd be whistled at. What do you get when you breed a bulldog with a Shih Tzu? Bullshit. Not bad. Hey, Finn, how you going? Finn Russin? That's not Russian, spelt wrong, team. Good to have you here, mate. Kaz Photocom, again, it's all a timing thing. Everything's changed at the moment. We've got the photos. We've got them in ready to go. As soon as we make that, people can vote on it and we'll be good. Catanias. And at the moment, there is no JB Hi-Fi open to go and get you the Fitbit either. My dog has a hoodie. Follow me on Instagram, Jaden Anderson. Brady, you hear about the zoo that only has one dog? It's the Shih Tzu. That's getting pretty bad now. Okay, what about two vegetarians having a fight? Does that become a beef? Do you get it? Well, Lauren said, my dog has a backpack so he can carry his own poop when he goes for walks. That sounds like a cruel punishment. Did you see what's happening today? I think it was India when people weren't doing the social separation. When the police catch them, they were slapping them around and then making them do push-ups and squats and hold positions. I thought it was bloody excellent. JC, I never went to Glenbrook, Simon. Where's that? He's in the photo comp. He is. He's a beautiful dog too. Madison, my Instagram, Mad MTV, as a pic of him. So dirty bastard wants to poop on the streets. He can be the dirty bastard who carries it. He hasn't even got an opposable thumb, Lauren. It's not his fault. He's the victim. Swallow Wognuts. What do you think of Australia's bullpup EF88? It's fine. I carried it my whole career. I've never shot one, obviously, but I don't mind it. They look good. I'd rather New Zealand's AR that looks so good. Do you think Australia should have New Zealand's rifle too? New Zealand had Australia's Steyr for the longest time too. With all they had was a different reticle, like an actual. It defeated the purpose too, with a crosshair in the sights, whereas ours has got the donut. But that's all changed now with the sight system on the EF89, EF88, and that's improved the maximum effective range significantly and beyond anyone that would be our threat. So we're in good hands there too as far as capability. Catonius, maximum fireman, named his children Jose and Hose B. That's not bad. Catonius, Jaden, I'm not even joking. I know of old bird that eats the stuff. Eats what, mate? Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with every comment. A local eats that stuff. What stuff is that, Jaden? Tell me about we call this a wrap. We're going to be on here again another 2 days, because a dog food. There you go. Never heard of it. I think Richmond and Wagga were the only New South Wales bases I went to. Wagga's a nice one, isn't it? Richmond's a bit. It just says your connection is unstable. Please wait while we try reconnecting. Haircut J, you reckon? Billy Krask. Check out Joe Rogan talks to US SEAL Andy Smumpf about the rescue of female Marine in Iraq. All prisoners get raped. Yep. And it's not for sex, it's for a weapon, yeah? You got to expect that. That's the best thing that can happen to you, Note to self, listening to this stream while jogging is amazing. Nathan, well done, Nathan. Get those legs up. Don't be afraid to have a drink either, mate. And don't flick that sweat onto people that are walking past. Swallow nuts. New Zealand has got the Mars L now. I reckon Australia should do. Look, this is the thing. Swallow wogs nuts. To people that don't know any better, assault weapons and military grade rifles, which is what they are, because a gun is a weapon that takes link, disintegrating link, and actually fires rounds and are used to fire rounds into a beaten zone, right? Which is a completely different pattern to firing a rifle that is precision weaponry. They're all pretty much the same. The sight systems can allow the ammunition to hit at different ranges because it will be zeroed to that range, etc. The propellant in the rounds doesn't change. Sometimes the same bullets that go in multiple weapon systems. It's just the function of that weapon is different, whether it be the M4, whether it be an upgraded weapon, the 7.62, and you go up to the SCAR or whatever it is. It can be your personal preference. Awesome. And at the end of the day, you're allergic to everything that comes out of all of them. And if you put a assault weapon in the hands of someone that knows how to use them, every one of them can be surgical. Yep. especially if you've done the work before it gets to there to get yourself in a position where your finger's on the trigger before the other guy. Madison, I used to ice my tattoo my poor ankle. Had to ice my tattoo. Don't you have the Ben Panthen cream, Madison? I can't still stand the smell of that shit. Lauren, do you actually have a peg for your nose for the filthy smell of that Ben Panthen cream? I can't stand it. Okay, Grumpy Digger says he runs a 113 twist in 762 and is good for 1,200 mounds. Okay. Are you lazy? You don't like to close with the enemy? You like to stay where you are, shoot him in another country from your seated lounge chair, Grumpy? I'd rather be a bit closer. Pawpaw cream is what I suggest now. Okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. Pawpaw cream also, team, when you get in and you start training, especially in wet environments, you can put that pawpaw cream down on your on the either side of your landing gear. It doesn't stink, but it takes away a lot of the chafing. It gives it a soft touchdown, so to speak, and it's not bad on the feel either. You can use that pawpaw cream on almost anything. Well, let's get out of here, team. Let's get out of here. We might talk about the military in the next one, to do with families, etc., and how this affects you with a girlfriend, how this affects you with a wife, how does this affect you with children, etc. So between now and then, a lot's going to happen. Yeah, you got to be ready for that. You got to obey the rules, because there's repercussions if you don't. If you want to watch what's happening and what the credible information is that's coming in, there is an excellent channel on YouTube called Peak Prosperity. Peak Prosperity, that's what it's called. And it speaks all about what's happened, what's happening, and why it is. And it's been tracking this for the last 61 days. And other than that, there is the World Health Organization. If you just type in coronavirus, okay, and then live update figures, you can see the way the world is being affected. And I'm telling you, it is jumping big time. To all of the medical people out there who have so much ahead of them, I'd be shitting myself if I was New Zealand. If I was in New Zealand as well, and Australia's medical personnel. It's like you're waiting for the sound of the bugles before the Japs start the charge at midnight. It's like you can feel that it's coming, and you can sense that tomorrow is going to be different. But you need to not be afraid for yourself. Don't be seen to be afraid for yourself. If everyone thinks about someone else, then what will happen is we'll get a hive immunity as far as morale goes, where people will not devolve into critters, and we will be the Australian society that got us through a lot tougher times. Hey, good camo, camo, not too cow, mate. I'll tell you one thing. For those that missed the start, you got to remember, 100 years ago, people grew up and saw the fallout of 60,000 men falling during World War I, and that was from Australia only. Even before the war had stopped, we had the Spanish influenza that started in France, and it was presumably started in an American military camp. And that killed over 50 million people around the world and infected more than a third of the population of the world. It killed more than 15,000 Australians. That was followed by a Great Depression. That was followed by World War II, which was followed by Korea and a whole bunch of other things there. Those people never had to own much for the rest of their life, and they seem to appreciate everything, and they're alive now. And they're the ones that are most in danger. And I really have a heavy heart hoping they get through this. They've already given too much, not too much, but they've given a lot so that we can have what we have today. So let's protect our tomorrows by doing the right thing today. and think of someone else before you think about yourself. Think, what can we do to help others? And know that real leadership is out there, but it's staying within its own countries, like it should. Because in times of need, we stay within the family, we stay within the tribe. All right? So don't try to make sense of this. Just try to keep the morale. All right. I'm in your corner. That's me in the corner. That's me in the spot. And I hope that you have a great day. I hope that common sense comes here and assists you. There's a whole community of people right here, right now. There is fantastic moderators in blue here that are there to answer your questions when it seems like Kaz keeps going past. We do care about you, whether you're global or whether you're Australian, whether you're male, whether you're female. No matter what your religion is, don't give a shit. But you're here. This is the Forever Channel, and we're here to help you get through this in the absence of having someone beside you on the lounge. Take it easy. Mucho respecto. Not too cow, just to improve the count. And I hope that you're ready for tomorrow. Hit that like button. Say goodbye to each other. And let's call this one a wrap for tonight. I thank you very much. Mucho appreciation for everyone here. Okay, take it easy. Big days, change ahead. Yep. Mum and Dad and Danny saw the marching out parade at Puckapunyal. It was a long march from cadets. 6th Battalion was the next to tour, and it was me who drew the card. Did Canungra, Shoalwater before we left. Townsville lined the footpath as we marched down to the quay. There's me with me slouch hat and me SLR and greens. Have I got it wrong? It was COVID-19.